So let's start off with facts about the coronavirus, because we haven't really covered it much because we've been so busy covering the elections that we didn't really get a chance. And I'm a very skeptical person. I'm kind of cynical. And I know that there are manipulations that the government does in order to scare people. So let's just break this down and discuss it, right? So this chart is true. The only thing is that now there are 127,000 people who have the coronavirus. So it has grown since this chart. And I'm just going to go ahead and read to you guys, what is the coronavirus? According to the WHO, the World Health Organization, a coronavirus is a type of virus that is transmitted from animals to humans. When a new strain first infects humans, it is known as a quote, novel coronavirus. Other famous illnesses caused by this coronavirus or coronaviruses include severe acute respiratory syndrome or SARS and Middle East respiratory syndrome or MERS. COVID-19 was first discovered in 2019. And so the flu is different from this because although they have similar symptoms, the flu is caused by different strains of influenza viruses, whereas COVID-19 is caused by a single virus. The biggest difference between the two is that the coronavirus may be able to be transmitted through cold air even after that ill person is no longer near. The flu, on the other hand, requires closer contact through sneezing or talking. So a lot of people didn't know this.
So it's more outbreakish, the coronavirus.
Right. The coronavirus is more outbreakish.
Johnny Outbreak.
Pasta says this because I put on Outbreak the other night. That movie was terrible, by the way.
You loved it. You were getting into it. You were narrating it. You were like, you see, this is what happened. Oh, they're wrong here. This is what they need to do.
But
Fiorella has become like because of her Grey's Anatomy attachment and everything else, she's become like an expert when it comes to airborne outbreak viruses and
no, it's science,
surgery,
fam.
right?
It's science.
It's science.
Fam. It's science. Okay. So the common symptoms are pretty much for COVID-19, fever, cough, and shortness of breath. I'm going to emphasize the shortness of breath because that's also been emphasized more recently because people who already have issues breathing need to be very careful, and we're going to go over that. And like I said, there is a death toll has increased since this chart was made. And that is something serious. I mean, we went from 87,000 to 127,000 in a matter of days. So this isn't anything to be dismissed. I want to be clear about that. You got to watch out for actual fever, not just a cold. Cough, the shortness of breath, like we said. And when you have a hard time breathing or pressure in your chest.
Woo!
I read this article that was saying that if you have a vape, it can lead to it more.
So wait a second.
If you're a smoker,
if you're a vapor
or a smoker,
you're more likely to get transmitted the coronavirus. So stick to just straight up flour.
Yeah.
I love the graphs Johnny's got going on over there too. It's like Johnny graphics in the corner. Look at him.
That's what it looks like. No, that's what it looks like. And it has the spikes, the corona. So in case you guys don't know Spanish, corona is crown. So it looks like a crown. That's where the name comes from. So according also to the CDC, because I guess that's who we trust in these times of crisis. Yeah, I know. Older people with pre-existing conditions should stay home and buckle up because, like we said, according to them, people who have blood disorders, chronic kidney disease, compromised immune systems, meaning if you've had chemotherapy, cancer in the past, etc., you're more likely to be susceptible in a more serious manner to this disease. Pregnancy, current or recently. So not a good time to get pregnant, you guys. Endocrine disorders.
Let me mark that on the calendar. Not a time to get pregnant. Go ahead.
Metabolic disorders, heart disease, lung disease. So asthma, any sort of disease like that. Stay home. Check on your people who have these chronic conditions and predisposed issues to this virus. There's also neurological conditions that if you have any sort of neurological conditions, that also doesn't help. According to the disease expert Michael Osterholm, who was on Joe Rogan's podcast. This is like a brief summary of what they spoke about. The coronavirus is 10 to 15 times stronger in effects than a normal flu-causing virus, which means the death rate is 0.1% in cases of normal flu. 1 out of 1,000 people who contact the flu die, becomes 1% in the corona cases. It spreads just like normal flu from one person to another, but it's actually airborne. The perception is it's affecting badly, mainly older people, but it may cause trouble to people, like we said, with underlying complications, high blood pressure, obesity, and diabetes. 4, it is going to stay here for 5 to 6 months.
This is the part what I was reading that just really bothered me, and I wanted to like talk to you about this and stuff like that. So, I mean, there are some situations where they say that people, no matter what, like 86% of the people are going to get coronavirus. Everybody's going to get it. We have to get treated for it. It has to pass through, whatnot.
Yeah.
What the hell are we going to do like for 5 to 6 months and stuff?
Yeah.
How are we going to fight this off?
Right.
You know, I'm saying, obviously, further in the folder, we're going to get to the ways to prevent things. I saw something that said eat healthy, be clean, all that stuff. But
which is expensive, by the way, to eat healthier. Like, I mean, salads and stuff, if you buy it at a restaurant, costs a lot more. It's going to have to cause people to cook at home more, I think. Like, obviously. And so people like pasta are going to become essential in the apocalypse, because pasta is the cook. You know, we saw in The Walking Dead how the cook was very important up to a certain extent.
Because, you know, rich people are going to be able to get to the test. The rich people are going to be able to take care of themselves. It's the poor people. Not only the fact that they're shutting down a lot of stuff, the NBA, hockey, soccer, everything got shut down over here. Now, that might seem like, oh, well, the athletes will be okay. They'll be able to pass. Yeah. But all the people working in those stadiums who depend upon those checks, now they're going to be cut off.
Restaurants, retail,
all this stuff.
Small businesses. This is a huge concern. More to me than medically. It is an economic disaster. That's what it is to me. I mean, I think I agree with Pasta. If everybody's more likely going to get it, it's kind of something that isn't that serious if you're a younger, healthier person. But if you're an older person or have issues, and that's when it becomes a thing. Yeah. Vaccines are going to take time to develop, fam. And when they develop, they're going to go directly to the rich. And they're estimating right now more than a year. I'm going to touch on this in a minute because in the middle of an election season, very contentious. Joe Biden is senile. He has dementia. He has, if you want to put it nicely, is mentally incompetent to be president of the United States. Somehow the election integrity people have figured it out. This is once again being rigged. Nobody's talking about that, and that's going to be pushed into the back burner as more people panic on this. So we're going to continue talking about that in the next segment. We really need to contrast the mainstream media and what they're doing, because all they're doing is freaking people out, and that's not what the media is supposed to do.
Serious, not world ending, but hope. But low key, hope it keeps crashing the empire down. Hope work practices change. I'm used to coughing, so I want 2 weeks off. Jason V, that's cool, but I think the elites are going to use this to their advantage. They're going to use this for control. We just heard from Washington that they put it out there: no more gatherings of more than 250 people together. So if there's a wedding plan and all this stuff, it's shut down. And let me tell you something, the actions by the mainstream media and the establishment, the way they kind of politicize this whole thing going through, they use it as an excuse to attack Donald Trump. Donald Trump used it as an excuse to fucking, with the market crashing, which is going on. It's been the worst day today. So it's been a shit show all on online, on TV and whatnot. And segment 2 is here.
Right. So we're in the middle of a primary. It's a very contentious primary. We've seen what's going on with the votes in Michigan, with the votes in New Hampshire, with what happened in California, everything. Joe Biden should not be ahead by delegates, and he's barely ahead because there's a lot of delegates we haven't counted in Washington State, which is completely like under martial law now. I mean, we're talking to our friends there, and it's not looking good for them over there. They have, I believe, 36 deaths I saw. They a lot of people have died over there. It's in the segment. It's in red. If you look at the map, Washington is red. California is red in the map. Florida's orange.